The perspectives I chose for the book, the point of views I chose for the book were, obviously I was writing a book about the Boston police strike, so I needed a Boston police officer. At that time it was very predominantly Irish, was to say an understatement. It was 90% Irish. So I knew I had to write about an Irish cop. So that gave me the Coughlin family, and Danny being the guy who gets swept up into the labor movement of the Boston Police Department, which wouldn't have been terribly interesting unless there was some sort of conflict to go against. So both his brother is a district attorney, he's against it, and his father is a police captain, so he's really management. Luther Lawrence, the black family is the Lawrences and the Gaudreaus. Luther came in, he just walked into the book. And you learn after a certain point, hopefully you mature enough, that the last character you should ever fight is the one who comes walking into your book and says, "Write about me." That's a gift sent from somebody, so roll with it. The third point of view character in a given day is Babe Ruth, and he's not in the book too much. I call him my bridge character. He, every time I need to sort of move from one section of the book, one period of time to another, let a little passage of time happen, I do it through Babe Ruth. Give you a sort of macro sense of what was going on in the world at that time. I do it through Babe Ruth. And I just thought he was an interesting character at that point. And this was a guy who was, in a lot of ways, the very first modern sports player. He was in the sense of how he negotiated his contracts, in the sense of, he was very happy to stick up a team until they paid him, sit out, and he suddenly decided he didn't want to pitch when he was actually at his prime as a pitcher. And every year he'd sign a new contract, and every year he'd bitch about it, and he just became to me a really interesting and sort of emblematic picture portrait of the sort of dawn of American celebrity. Normally when I write a book, there's always one character or two characters who step up, but in this one I think there was more like four, because I was trying to do I was trying to work in certain traditions as I understood them of the epic, and so one of the things that's always in the epic is the star-crossed lovers, and so I decided, it's an epic. Now, don't just have one, have two. So you have Danny, who's in love with Nora but can't face the fact that he's in love with Nora, and she's engaged, of course, to his brother, and then she has very feelings for him that run from anger to ambivalence. So they're dancing around each other for the book. And then you have Luther, who has had to run from Tulsa, leave his wife behind, and his wife is not happy about that at all. And she's pregnant with his child, and he realizes, as many men do, just a hair too late, that he loves his wife a lot more than he thought he did. And so he spends the book just trying to get back to what at the beginning of the book he's actually bristling and chafing at. So those two stories, those four characters, to me that's the heart and soul of the book.